In 2022, top 25 accounting firm, Citrin Cooperman, in April of 2022, took PE money from the company New Mountain. So New Mountain took a controlling stake in Citrin Cooperman, a majority stake. Well, now they just sold to a bigger PE firm, Blackstone, who's the biggest PE firm in the world. New Mountain paid in 2022 11x over EBITDA. Blackstone now paid 15x over EBITDA. So the value went from about 500 million to now over 2 billion. And so everybody's excited about this because it seems like, hey, this is the exit now. I sell the PE and the PE is going to flip it. That's why more PE is going to buy accounting firms. But I don't think Blackstone wants to own all the accounting firms that are out there. Like, not everybody's going to have an exit to Blackstone. And I also think the reason this happened is Blackstone has other interests that Citrin aligned with. So the randomest places to see information about this acquisition was in musicbusinessworldwide.com. And the reason why is Citrin Cooperman already had a deep tie in the music business because they, in 2022, purchased Barry Mazarowski and acquired his team in 2022. He is an expert music rights valuer. So, like, what's the value of the Beatles catalog? This is the guy that would go and tell you. So they purchased this person. Blackstone has also made other music-related acquisitions. So they purchased something called the Hypnosis Song Fund. So if you're wondering what that is, that was actually on the London Stock Exchange, and they own. It doesn't have the specific. Oh, here it is. They own Rick. They bought Rick James's catalog, and then they wound up purchasing another 30,000 songs from Cobalt Music Copyrights. And last September, they bought Shawn Mendes, Panic at the Disco, and One Direction. So they have all these catalogs of music, another 4,000 catalogs. So this is a PE play. So Blackstone purchased this company that IPO'd and took them off the market to make them private to own all these music rights. And then they also bought the second oldest performing rights organization in the US that it's similar to an ASCAP and BMI, but they're for profit. And they have another 30,000 songwriters that are represented by that company. So Blackstone might have interest in their music interests. And that's why they picked up Citrin, not because they want to own accounting firms. There's ties to their music.
A giant PE company owns a bunch of music industry businesses, and Citrin Cooperman services them? What is Citrin Cooperman?
They service them, and they determine the value of them.
Oh, they value them. So this is interesting,
so if you have a catalog of
right.
the Beatles songs, it's worth so much, hundreds of millions of dollars.
So
and Citrin Cooperman is the experts in figuring out how much that's worth.
Okay. I was wondering where you were going with this, because this is the big concern about private equity owning accounting firms, especially if they're big private equity firms, because the value to the public in accounting is our independence. They can trust the numbers that we give them. And if your firm is owned by a private equity firm and they are perhaps pressuring you to give them good valuation numbers on their other investments, maybe you're not as independent.
Or lower on other acquisitions you want to make. Maybe I want to go buy I want to buy Blake's music catalog from his cello days. They could value it lower so I can make the acquisition cheaper.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
independence
there's nothing to really indicate this, but I don't think they just bought accounting firms to own an accounting firm. I don't know if they love the business. I think it ties into other motivations they might have.
Yeah. This is a big problem. Independence becomes an issue potentially here, and I'm not sure that you can firewall this. I'm not sure that you can protect against it. I think we will see abuse happen. I'm sure we will. It seems like inevitable.
If there's an accounting firm that really specializes in commercial real estate and apartment complexes, and then Blackstone acquires them, maybe we can start questioning what their motivations are on this. But it's interesting because I just don't see that as the exit for everybody. Like, what do you think Blackstone wants to own hundreds of accounting firms? That seems silly to me. Like, just because they have a lot of money doesn't mean that's the step in the exit for everybody.
Yeah. I like your conspiracy there, David. I think you should, let's pull out the tinfoil hats. Let's put them on.
Why would the music industry cover why would the music industry cover an accounting acquisition by a PE firm? Why would they cover this? Or why would it be news in the music industry
Right.
unless it's actually something there?
Asia in the live stream says, shouldn't someone with a CPA license be the majority owner of a CPA firm? Well, that's the law in a number of states. I think in most states. But here's the trick. Here's how you get around it. You buy the firm and you split the firm into two entities. One entity does all the non-attest, non-audit work, such as valuation work. And that firm can have a majority ownership that is not a CPA. So the PE firm can own as much as it wants of that non-CPA firm. It's just some sort of LLC, whatever. The CPA firm, all that is left in there is the audit work. That's all that remains. Whatever by regulation has to be with the CPA firm is there. And then you create these agreements between the non-attest firm and the attest firm to share resources, pay salaries, all that stuff. And so it's a little hack to get out all the value of that, CPA firm into an entity that you can control and is not under the control of CPAs. And I think it is, it sort of reminds me of like SPACs in the way that it gets around regulation and it avoids scrutiny. Hoppin says that is devious. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's kind of brilliant, but it's also devious. And I think it's long term. I don't see how that leads to a better accounting profession for certified public accountants because it marginalizes us. It means that accounting firms are smaller, doing fewer things because the actual accounting firm is now just doing audit instead of all this other stuff. So let's go back to like Barry Melanson, my favorite guy. He spent his whole career telling accountants that we need to go beyond the traditional services that we do, right? We need to go beyond audit and tax, and we need to expand into business advisory and all this stuff, right? Well, what do we actually have happening? We have CPA firms becoming more marginalized and CPAs losing control of the firms because of what he's enabled, because what the AICPA has enabled, because they aren't actually representing the interests of working CPAs.